We are fabulous.
Yes. Now that we know that the Zoom feed is working to England,
yeah, we're very
really
happy.
Good. Yes.
It's all good.
Let me tell the folks a little bit about Steve. Steve Nobel is the author of 5 books. The most recent is a free ebook entitled Star Seeds. Now, this has a lot to do with his work. And actually, if you recognize the name, it has a lot to do with my work. And so we're really compatriots here. And what we're about ready to do is to show you something. It may sound pretty familiar about Steve's work. For 13 years, Steve was the director of a nonprofit spiritual organization called Alternatives, and that was based in St. James Church in Piccadilly, London. Now, this is really quite a famous thing that he was part of, so famous that somebody found out who I was and said, wow, we ought to have Lee over there. And I said, well, I'm not famous. But they said, come on over. And so I just want to show the folks the picture here, even before we go any further with Steve, of me at the church. So this is a beautiful idea, and you can say anything in that church, and it's called Alternatives for a reason. And I talked about all manner of things, including what Steve is about to tell you about today and teach. He began his own healing and awakening work, creating a healing system called Soul Matrix Healing. Let me read one of parts of his message, and I think this is going to ring true for what you've heard many times from us. We're passing through interesting times where personal and spiritual growth happens through an interplay of dark and light forces. This is all about to change in the coming years.
So Steve's message continues that we are coming to the end of a period of great spiritual darkness on earth. In this period between 1987 and 2030, a great shift of consciousness has been initiated. We are moving rapidly towards a 5D paradigm of existence where the old game of dark and light will no longer play out in the same painful way.
Hooray. Now is the time of ascension, both for the planet itself and for millions of souls on the planet. There are many star seeds on this planet who are waking up to their mission here. In this dense dimension, it has been very difficult to maintain a high consciousness. That's saying it mildly.
Now, this has been changing over the past decades because there's a new high-frequency grid that's been established on the Earth. Hallelujah. Can I get a hallelujah there? So welcome to the show. Dear Delight, Steve, please tell us more about your journey and your own starseed awakening.
Okay, thank you so much for having me here. And I've just got to say that Kryon was such a big part of particularly my second awakening. I had 2 awakenings, really, I think, in my life. The first one was this beautiful one in the early 90s, 1991. There was a trigger. I started waking up and finding spiritual teachers and channels and learning about synchronicity and you create your reality. And I started listening to all kinds of channels and spiritual teachers. And my mind started expanding and my old life started collapsing. I was married with 2 young children and working in the kind of corporate world. And the marriage did end and the corporate job did end as well. And so that was but it was a beautiful awakening. It was magical. I trained with a lot of teachers and it was great. I joined Alternatives in 1994, actually. Wow. It was an amazing organization, spiritual organization in the heart of a church, of an Anglican church. And it was created by Sir Christopher Wren, designed it, the guy who built St. Paul's Cathedral. And William Blake, the visionary, was baptized there. So I joined in 94. I heard so many amazing teachers. I was like sitting at the feet of all these teachers. And I became a director in 2000, the turn of the millennium, and for 13 years I was there listening to all kinds of people. I did tell them after I left on the 21st of December 2012 on that day, and I did say after I left to the guys who took over from me, go and get Lee Carroll, I want to hear him. And actually he did turn up, as he mentioned, and I missed the talk. I couldn't make it, but there we are. So I had this magical experience, magical awakening. Everything was wonderful, lots of training. I had a second awakening in 2010, and this one was a bit of a difficult one. It was a dark night of the soul. I spent 6 years in this dark night of soul. Kryon was a lifeline because I had all this material from Kryon's website. I listened to it daily. It was just such a lifeline. But then eventually in 2016, I started coming out of it. And one morning I woke up and this voice, there was a disconnection from source in my dark night. But one morning I woke up and the voice said to me from spirit or guide or higher self, whatever it was, it's time to talk about ascension and starseeds. And to be honest, it wasn't great news for me. It wasn't something I really wanted to do. I was like, oh my God, what do I know about it? But they were kind of insistent and said, don't worry, you'll learn on the way type of thing. I started doing workshops. People were ecstatic. And I was told by one organizer of a workshop, you got to keep doing this stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't really think I knew what I was, talking about. I was just downloading it as I was going. So here I am 5 years later. And I've kind of got some kind of map, which I ask you not to believe a word of what I'm going to say, but just maybe it will resonate with you. But what I feel, there's this ascension that Kryon talks about. The way I see it, there's a shift from what I call 3D to 4D to 5D. And 3D is this old us and them separation consciousness. It's empire building, it's conflict, it's all the stuff you read in the newspapers, 3D consciousness. And we're leaving this now. It's an age of darkness, you could say. I think if you look at the history books, you must agree it's an age of darkness. There's not much light there. Spiritual teachers have come over the last 2,000 years, and some of them have not been very much welcomed really here. There's a lot of volatility going on now as we're shifting from one age of darkness to an age of light. And a lot of prophecies talk about this. There's a Mayan prophecy and Aztecs and Egyptian and Toltec. The Toltec one is really interesting because the Toltec one says that the age of the fifth sun started to leave in, was it July 1991? July 1991 was when I was waking up. It said the energy of the old age and the new age was equal in energy, equal in power on the 21st of December 2012, which was the very day I left alternatives. This year, I think it was May 26th of this year, they said that the age of the sixth sun was really ascending and leaving the fifth sun behind. So in astrology, it's the old age of Pisces, Aquarius, it's all of that. 4D. To me, we've shifted into 4D, and 4D is where we learn about mastery. My journey was really about learning about mastery, and mastery is about we create our own reality. It's not our boss or partner or mother-in-law that creates our reality. It's not our economy. It's we create it from the inside out. And I spent many years looking at this concept and experiencing it, going, is this true? Well, let me try it out and see if it's true. And I pushed the universe in all kinds of ways to see, all right. And I think I got the message in the end, stop pushing the boat, just go with it. And I stopped pushing the boat. So we're learning that our reality is created from the inside out, that our beliefs and life scripts, our conditioning, our thoughts, feelings, choices, actions, all create our reality. And it's quite a magical thing to think that everything around us, our health, our relationships, our money, our work is created from the inside out, and that we can shift these as we shift our belief systems and thinking and perspectives. We change the world we see. 5D to me is a stabilization in a higher vibration. This is the work I've been doing on myself really, is in 4D, it's no longer the mantras, the vision boards, the ceremonies to create and, meditating for hours. I remember one day meditating for 5 hours. It's ridiculous, really. But now I don't meditate for long. Cycling is a meditation. The shower's a meditation. Walking's a meditation. And I find this is the practice, stabilizing in a higher frequency. So our reality is created from a place of joy or love or possibility, really. What I see going on the planet now is a lot of volatility, and I see this period of 2019 to 2022 probably as a key period, the most intense struggle between light and dark. I do see that there is these old forces on the planet that want to keep the planet in the way it's been for a long time. There are forces that governing, politics and economics and military industrial complexes and all these things. But the light is increasing, and there are these forces going, no, we want to keep things the same. And it's this volatility we've seen, like in America, you had all the volatility around the last presidency with Donald Trump, a lot of volatility there. We've had Brexit in England, and now we've got this global thing going on. And so this is all part of the shift, really. I see there's a number of patterns coming up. One of them I see is the caterpillar cocoon butterfly kind of pattern, which is star seeds, and I'll talk about star seeds in a minute, but star seeds often feel they're these miserable caterpillars. You know, we're born in these 3D families that don't really get us, and we're shifting into these butterfly beings. And I don't know if any of you guys have had it, but I used to go to workshops and feel like it's amazing spiritual person, like, you know, loving myself and loving everyone. I go back to work, go back in the family, and suddenly, you know, I'm back in the old stuff again. So these old programs of unworthiness and victim and martyrhood and miserable earthworm type of patterns are being cleared out, I think. So we're really learning to be masters of our own reality, and we have to clear out all this old conditioning. The other thing I see that's coming is this rebalancing of the masculine and feminine. The feminine has been suppressed for thousands of years, and now the feminine's coming up now. We can see it in all spiritual circles. You know, 85% of the audience are women. And so this feminine energy, and also feminine men in touch with their femininity, are very much in the new age. There's a rebalancing going on. The goddess is returning, and I think men are struggling with it a little bit, like the old stereotype or stereotypical gender roles are breaking down. The other thing I think is happening is this balancing of light and dark. So in the past, the dark was in the ascendants. You know, it wasn't really particularly safe to come out and going, hey, you know, I believe in angels and I'm a light worker and all of that. You know, in times gone by, you could be burnt at the stake for that kind of thing. But now I see that the light is stronger than the dark. The dark is really dwindling and the light is ascending. But a lot of light workers and starseeds still have this old belief that the dark is stronger, and they're afraid to come out of the spiritual closet because of that. You know, this was the case for me. There's a lot of resistance in coming out, and resistance is a big part of the awakening process. We are called to awaken, and we resist the process. So starseeds, because I had mentioned that, and who are they? What are they? Why are they here? Well, starseeds are part of the shift. They're an intrinsic part of the shift, and I see that starseeds are not native to this planet. They're actually newbies here, newbies on the block. You know, some have had lifetimes before here and have acclimatized, but a lot of waves coming in now have never been here before. These are the new kids coming in who have got the ADHD and struggling in school, struggle with authority, really. But starseeds have lifetimes in many dimensions and planes of existence. As Jesus the Christ said, in my Father's mansion, there are many rooms. And when I was a Christian practicing, I had never understood that. But now I have a good idea that he's talking about many different dimensions and planes of existence. Starseeds have acute sensitivity, which is a problem for them. You know, it's a great gift, but the problem is they can feel overwhelmed by too much going on, or that their boundaries can get overwhelmed. So it's a double-edged sword. So starseeds have to manage this sensitivity thing before they can be really effective and be happy in the world. There's a core sign of feeling they do not belong. And I actually joke often in webinars that starseeds belong to the club of not belonging. You know, it's nice that we do belong somewhere, but we belong to the club of not belonging. You know, we don't belong anywhere until we find our soul tribe and go, hey, I resonate with you. Isn't it great? Starseeds are drawn to alternative, sustainable lifestyles, alternative health, eating, caring for the body. Starseeds tend to love nature because there's no ego in nature. You know, they go and sit with the plants and meditate with the trees. I used to do that, you know, hours on end, sitting with trees. They're very drawn to futuristic thinking, books, films, and projects. I love Star Trek when I was a teenager, you know, seeing all those little red beams coming out of those little phaser guns and seeing all that, you know, what do you call it? Almost like mobile phones now, all this technology, which is incredible. I loved it. And non-intervention was the primary directive. I love all these things. You know, I thought it was so amazing. Starseeds tend to be forward solutions focused. They do not tend to be so attached to the past. I mean, in my family, a pretty 3D family, non-starseeds, I think I'm probably the only one apart from a few grandchildren coming in. But my brothers are so nostalgic, so much about the past, photos about the past and who said what in the past and what toy was given when we were 6 and all this. I've had one of my brothers tell me, do you remember when we were 6, you got this train set? I've got no idea. And I'm not really interested. My focus is in the present, looking forward. I'm not looking back to when I was 6. Honestly, I've had these crazy conversations with some of my brothers. My daughter finds it hilarious, when I tell her. Anyway, starseeds are naturally loving, though many do have a warrior-like energy, because there is that need for warrior-like energies here on the planet. They do have a different type of intelligence. They often download information, and I saw this in a lot of the new kids, where when I was at school, that I had to study, to pass my A-levels and all of that. But a lot of these new kids, they're on their computer games, and they just download the stuff and pass their exams. It's quite incredible. I've seen several of them do this. And a good comparison between starseed and non-starseed would be someone like Tesla and Einstein, where Tesla and Edison, Edison was pedantic, scientific, 1,000 experiments, slowly. Tesla did it all in his head, just downloaded it and in his imagination saw it working out. And of course, Edison said that he's not scientific, and they didn't really get on, obviously. Starseeds come to anchor a new set of energetic frequencies here. They're pioneers in consciousness. They're really here to birth heaven on earth. They are the healers, the light workers, the earth workers, the ley line activators, the sacred site people. They're the ones growing their veggies off-grid and community outside living communities. They're the creative artists. A lot of starseeds were able to come early on in the 50s, 60s through music, particularly like John Lennon, David Bowie, Hendrix. They could, there's a starman waiting in the sky type of thing. Who else would be able to say that kind of thing but a musician? They got away with it. There are a lot of starseeds who are innovators like Steve Jobs, who innovate with technology. And the way I see technology going is in the future that technology is going to be more in line with the planet, more sustainable, not against the planet. That's really the shift that technology needs to be making and will make, I believe. There are warriors. There's the crypto warriors. There's the anonymous people breaking up the old 3D systems. And, the Julian Assanges and the Edward Snowdens who are going into those dark places and revealing, do you know what's going on in the shadows? And, of course, the people in government are going, no, ignore those people. We know the truth. And actually, we're finding there's a big distrust in a lot of governments because of what whistleblowers are doing. And I do think whistleblowers are a lot of them are starseeds, I think.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. I love that. All these points is so germane because this whole month we're talking about change. Tell me about the soul matrix.
The healing. Well, early on, I think when I started, the first thing I started doing was I started downloading these meditations and transmissions from, I was in Greece the first time it happened. And I was really like, who is this? Who's trying to connect with me? And eventually, after 3 or 4 days of processing it, I put out this transmission in 2016, I think it was. And then over the years, I've been putting more and more out. And it seems they were a bit like jigsaw puzzles, putting out, connecting with your higher self and connecting with the Lyrans and some other star races, the Syrians and the Pleiadians. And I had these intense experiences of people connecting with me and having a love affair for a week, and then they disappear. And so I put out something and they're gone. So it seems to be, I say, come back, I really loved our connection, but they've gone and somebody else comes in. Soul Matrix the healing system came after about a year when I woke up one day and I had this voice saying, you're going to create one-to-one sessions. And I was like, really? How's that going to happen? They said, don't worry about it. It will all happen. You'll get the downloads and everything. So basically what I did was what happened was all the systems I trained in, it was very earthy systems like coaching and NLP and conversational hypnotherapy and all those kind of earthy things, counseling. And then there was lots of metaphysical stuff, shamanism, Wicca, and light body surgery and all kind of out there stuff over here. And they told me after a while, put them together. And I'm like, but they don't fit. How do they fit together? And they just said, just stay with it. So it took a while really to see these pieces of a jigsaw puzzle come together. But now I feel what I'm doing is combining the very earthy coaching, NLP, which has got some great stuff, stuff around timelines and stuff around how we process material and stuff, how we use language to go into people's energy field. And that's wonderful. And on the other side, there's connecting with the higher self, opening the inner channel, calling guides in, opening the Akashic records, clearing the Akashic records. One of the things I'm really keen on is actually using the Akashic records for clearing, because I think there's lots of angelic energies now and energies which are available to actually clear old programming. And I find that really exciting. I'm not so interested in the voyeurism, the what was I in my last lifetime? I don't really do that so much. I'm not really bothered. But if it's a lifetime that's significant, we need to find the programming and the gifts and the lessons and anything needs to be completed and released. And that's what I'm interested in. And that's what I go through.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. And I have a feeling that there's people listening in along with us going, well, let's do some of that. I would love to go in and do some Akash clearing or whatever it is you feel you can do in a little exercise for us to sample some of that.
I can. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for 20 minutes. It's incredible. I thought I just go on and on and on and time just flies. Where's it gone? All right. Let's do something. This is
what we wanted.
This is 5D.
This is really good.
It goes in a flash, right?
All right. Let's do something for you and the audience. So if I ask you to close your eyes and breathe for a moment. And with your breath, on the in-breath, imagine connecting to the light in the universe around you, the stars, the sun, and the horizon on the in-breath. And on the in-breath, inviting light into your body. All cells of the body, bones, blood, organs. On the out-breath, imagine releasing anything you've picked up from the old matrix, the old energies of the world. Any old emotional energies or psychic energies that you can purge, just release on the out-breath. Let's call your team in spirit to be with you, your higher self, your I am presence, the monadic self, all helpers, guides, angels and archangels, star beings, star races, star councils working with you, all specialist teams in spirit working with you. Be here now. Be here now. Just take a breath and feel a shift as you call your own team in spirit. Feel yourself grounded into the earth, the crystalline grid of the earth. Feel your channel open to the sun and the great central sun. And for the purpose of this exercise, I want you to think about something that makes you feel alive, perhaps a dream that you haven't quite actualized yet, or perhaps a goal or a project that you want to create, but it's not quite there yet. As you breathe into this project, this goal, this dream, notice where in your body do you feel most alive, where you feel most alive. There'll be a resonance in your body, maybe the heart or the solar plexus or the sacral or the throat or even the third eye, somewhere in the torso usually. Breathe light into that aliveness, that sense of, yes, this is what I'd love to create. Yes, I'm open to it. Yes. And in that sense of yesness, just tune in and notice if there's any sense of maybe or not sure or no or resistance or is it possible for me, can I have it, or any slight anxiety or I don't know, that's a bit of a leap for me. Go into the no. So inside of you there's a sense of yes. Go into the place where there's a no in the body, if there is a no, or even if it's a slight no, and breathe into that place and notice in that resistance or that place, how big is that energy of no or not sure or maybe? Is it a peanut or a walnut or an apple or a melon or a football or bigger? Tune into the no. How big is that no as energy in your body? And then notice, what's the energy doing, that no or maybe or anxiety? Is it vibrating? Is it expanding, contracting, swirling, pulsing or still? Is it light or heavy? And what color or colors is that energy? If you were to know, what color or color is that energy of no or maybe? And just breathe. Imagine breathing some light and space into that energy of no. If there's any energy of resistance to taking a step, and of course, the bigger the step, the bigger the dream, the bigger the potential resistance usually. Breathe a little bit of space and light into that sense of maybe or no. If there's anybody else's energy in that no or maybe, give permission on the out-breath to release that no or maybe out, the energy of other people, perhaps family or friends or colleagues, or even spiritual teachers that may be a sense of no in your body. Any energy that doesn't align with your true path, release on the out-breath. Allow more of your own natural light into your body. Begin to expand the no in light, more space, more light in that no. And notice if there's any shift or change. Perhaps the color changes, perhaps the feel of it begins to shift a bit. Just take a breath with that for a moment. And then notice if you can join the energy of yes in your body to the energy of no or maybe in your body. Yes to this project or dream. Imagine drawing a line where you can connect the energy of the two, allowing the energy of yes to begin to inform the energy of maybe, and join the two energies, become one, and begin to form a new energy where the yes takes account of the no or maybe, but still becomes a yes, still becomes a yes. Tuning into the yes for this dream and the no at the same time, and join them together. And in joining them together, a magic tends to happen. The color of the no may change. The frequency of the no may change. The energy and movement of the no may change in your body. Just take a moment doing that. Allowing the yes and the no to come together to create a new energy, a new possibility, a new doorway, a new opening. And breathe into that new opening, that new possibility, that new doorway. Perhaps one that you haven't seen before or thought about before. Perhaps one that may materialize in the hours or days ahead. Just take a breath where the no meets the yes and is changed by the yes. Feel the aliveness of this dream, why you want it, why it's something to move towards it for. Why do you want to create this dream? What's the benefit for you and others? Does it help you create heaven on earth? Does it help others create heaven on earth? Can you grow joyfully through this dream, this goal? And breathe and allow all of that inside of you to form a new resonance, a new connection, connecting the dots in a new way in your